Hello, everyone, and welcome back to EasyTalk English. No matter where you're listening from today, we're really glad you're here with us. This is a safe, calm space to practice English, especially if you feel a little nervous or unsure sometimes.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here with you again. To be honest, I'm a bit nervous today myself, so if you feel nervous too, you're definitely not alone. Just being here and listening already counts as showing up.
I'm really glad you said that, Alex, because many people think the hosts of an English podcast are never nervous, but that's not true at all. Feeling nervous doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It just means you care.
Actually, yesterday I had a very real situation like that. I need to give a short presentation at work soon, and even though it's not my first time, I still feel that tight feeling in my chest. I keep thinking about standing in front of people and speaking, and my mind starts to race.
That sounds very familiar, and I think many listeners recognize that feeling right now. It's that mix of worry, pressure, and self-questioning that comes before speaking. You're not weak for feeling that way. You're human.
Exactly. And what surprised me is that I speak English quite often, but the nervous feeling still shows up. Sometimes I ask myself why this doesn't disappear, even after years of practice. It made me realize that confidence is not something you get once and keep forever.
That's such an important point, Alex. Confidence is not a permanent state. It comes and goes depending on the situation. Even people who speak English very well can feel unsure when they speak in meetings, presentations, or new social situations.
And when I feel nervous, I notice my thoughts change. I start thinking too much about mistakes, about how I sound, or about what other people might think. It's not a great feeling, and it can make speaking feel heavy.
I really appreciate how honestly you're sharing this. We're not here to tell anyone to just be confident or to push loud motivation. Instead, we want to talk quietly and honestly about what confidence really feels like in daily life.
Yes, because when people talk about confidence in books or online, it often sounds very easy and very perfect. But real-life confidence is messy, slow, and sometimes uncomfortable. That's the kind of confidence most of us are dealing with.
So today, we want to slow things down and ask a simple but important question together. What does confidence really mean in real life, not in books or theories? What does it look like when you're just a normal person trying to speak and communicate?
In this episode, we won't use difficult psychology words or complicated English. We'll just talk about confidence as it shows up in real conversations, real work situations, and real feelings. If that sounds helpful to you, you're in the right place.
And before we continue, just a very gentle reminder, if you enjoy learning with us and these conversations feel familiar, you can like this episode and subscribe to Easy Talk English. It helps us keep creating calm, real English content for learners around the world.
All right, let's take a breath together and continue. You don't need to be confident already to listen to this episode. If you feel nervous, you belong here, and we're really glad you're listening.
Before we go any further, I think it's really important to clear up a big misunderstanding about confidence. Many learners think confidence means being perfect, speaking without mistakes, or never feeling nervous. But that idea actually puts a lot of pressure on people.
Yes, I used to think that too. I thought confident people always know what to say and never feel unsure. But the more people I meet, the more I realize that's not true at all.
So let's define confidence in very simple English. Confidence is believing in yourself even when something feels difficult. It's trusting that you can try, not that you will be perfect.
That definition feels much lighter already. When you say it like that, confidence sounds possible, not scary. It doesn't feel like a special skill only some people have.
Exactly. And this is another important point. Being confident does not mean you are never nervous. In fact, many confident people still feel nervous before speaking, presenting, or trying something new.
I can really relate to that. Even when I prepare well, I still feel nervous sometimes. But now I understand that nervous doesn't mean I can't do it, it just means I care.
Confidence also doesn't mean knowing everything. Confident people don't have all the answers, and they don't pretend they do. They're okay with saying, I don't know, or let me try.
That's such a relief to hear. When I stopped trying to know everything, I actually felt more confident. I focused more on trying and less on proving myself.
Let's think about a very real-life example. Learning to ride a bicycle. When you first start, you fall, you feel scared, and you don't feel confident at all, but you still get back on the bike.
Yes, and no one expects a child to write perfectly on the first day. Falling is part of learning. If you stop every time you fall, you never learn to ride.
Learning English works in a very similar way. At the beginning, you forget words, you make grammar mistakes, and you feel slow. But that doesn't mean you're bad at English.
It just means you're learning. I've made so many mistakes when speaking English, even simple ones, but each mistake taught me something, even if it felt uncomfortable at the moment.
For me, confidence is really about attitude. It's how you talk to yourself after a mistake. Do you say, I'm terrible? Or do you say, okay, I'm still learning?
I love that way of looking at it. Confident people don't stop because of mistakes. They notice them, learn from them, and keep going.
That's why today's main message is very simple. Confidence is not about being right all the time. It's about not stopping when things feel hard.
So if you're listening and thinking, I'm not confident enough yet, that's okay. Confidence grows while you try, not before you start.
Take a moment to breathe and let that sink in. You don't need perfect English to be confident. You just need the courage to continue.
And if you can keep going, even slowly, you're already more confident than you think.
Before we talk about building confidence, I think we need to talk honestly about why we lose it. Because losing confidence is not a personal failure. It's a very human experience. Almost everyone listening has felt this at some point.
Yes, and when it happens, it feels very lonely. You start thinking, why am I like this? Or why can't I be confident like other people? I've had those thoughts many times.
One very common reason is past failure. Maybe you spoke English once and made a mistake, and someone corrected you or looked confused. That one moment stays in your mind much longer than it should.
I know that feeling so well. I once answered a question in a meeting and my sentence came out wrong. People didn't laugh, but I felt embarrassed. And after that, I stayed quiet for a long time.
And that's such a natural reaction. Your brain tries to protect you. It says, if I stay quiet, I won't feel that pain again. But silence slowly takes confidence away.
Exactly. The next time I had an idea, I didn't share it. Not because I didn't have thoughts, but because I was afraid of saying something wrong again.
Another big reason we lose confidence is comparing ourselves to others. This happens a lot with English learners. You hear someone speak fluently, and suddenly you feel small.
Yes, you think, they sound so natural and I sound so basic. And in that moment, you forget how far you've already come.
Social media makes this even stronger. We see short videos of people speaking perfect English, confident, smiling, with no mistakes. But that's not real life. That's a highlight.
We compare our everyday life to someone else's best moment. We don't see their practice, their mistakes, or their bad days. We only see the final result.
And that comparison is very unfair to yourself. You are looking at your full story and comparing it to one polished moment from someone else.
Another reason we lose confidence is fear of judgment. We worry too much about what other people might think. What if they think I'm stupid? Or what if they laugh?
But most of the time, people are not judging you as much as you imagine. They are busy thinking about themselves, their own words, their own mistakes.
Still, the fear feels very real. Sometimes I stay quiet not because I have nothing to say, but because I don't want attention on my English.
And that's something many learners do. Silence feels safer than trying, even though deep inside you want to speak.
Yes, and the sad part is that staying silent slowly tells your brain, I can't do this. That's how confidence fades, little by little.
So let's be very clear here. Losing confidence does not mean you are weak. It means you care about doing well, about being understood, about growing.
If you didn't care, you wouldn't feel afraid at all. Fear is actually a sign that something matters to you.
Exactly. And once you understand that, you can stop blaming yourself. Confidence doesn't disappear because you are bad. It disappears because you are human.
Hearing that makes me feel lighter. It reminds me that I'm not broken, I'm just learning.
And that understanding is the first step to building confidence again, slowly and kindly. Now that we understand why confidence goes down, the next question is very practical. What can we actually do? Not big changes, not pressure, just small steps that feel possible in real life. Confidence doesn't grow from thinking, it grows from doing.
I really like the idea of small steps because big goals make me freeze. If I think I must speak confidently, I feel scared. But if I think I'll say one sentence, my body relaxes a bit.
Exactly. Small steps could be very simple. Ask one question in a meeting, even if your voice is quiet, or share one short idea, not a long explanation.
For me, speaking one sentence is already a win. Even saying I agree or I think so too counts. It's still speaking, and it still trains confidence.
That's such an important point. Many learners think confidence only counts when you speak perfectly or for a long time, but one sentence is enough to tell your brain, I can do this.
And once you do it once, the second time feels a little easier. Not easy, but easier than before. That's how confidence slowly grows.
Another helpful habit is preparation, not over-preparing, just enough to feel safe. For example, before a meeting, you can think of one idea you might share.
Yes, preparation helps me a lot. When I prepare, my fear goes down. I feel like I'm not walking into the situation empty-handed.
Simple preparation can be practicing in front of a mirror, not to sound perfect, but to hear your own voice. It makes speaking feel less strange.
I also use my phone to record myself sometimes. At first, I hated listening to my voice, but now it helps me notice that I sound better than I think.
That's such an honest experience. Another easy tool is notes. Just writing down a few key words, not full sentences, can make you feel more stable when you speak.
Notes are like a small safety net. You don't always need them, but just knowing they're there helps calm my mind.
And when fear shows up in your body language can help more than words. Very simple things, nothing dramatic.
Like standing tall. When I straighten my back, I feel a bit stronger inside. It's strange, but it really works.
Yes, and slowing down is another big one. Nervous people speak fast, but confident people take their time. Speaking slowly makes you sound clearer and feel calmer.
Eye contact also helps, but just lightly. You don't need to stare. Just look, then look away, then look again. It feels more natural.
All these things are small, but they send a message to your brain. I am safe. I am capable. And that message builds trust in yourself.
I like the idea of small wins. Every time I try, even if it's not perfect, I feel a little more trust in myself.
That trust is the real foundation of confidence. Not talent, not perfect English, but trusting that you can try again tomorrow.
So confidence doesn't start with feeling brave. It starts with action, even when you're nervous.
Exactly. And that's the key message here. Confidence grows when action comes first and feelings follow later. Now let's talk about the part many beginners don't say out loud but feel very deeply. Fear. Not small fear, but the kind that sits quietly inside and makes you stay silent even when you want to speak.
Yes, that fear feels very real. Fear of saying the wrong word, fear of making a mistake, and especially fear of people laughing. Sometimes I don't speak at all, even when I know the answer.
That fear is extremely common, and it doesn't mean you are weak. It actually means you care. You care about doing well, about being understood, and about how you sound.
I never thought about it that way before. I always told myself I'm scared because I'm bad at English, But maybe I'm scared because English matters to me.
Exactly. Fear is not proof that you can't do something. Fear is proof that something is important to you. If English didn't matter, you wouldn't feel afraid at all.
One fear that really stays with me is accent. When I hear my accent, I feel embarrassed. I think people would judge me before they even hear my idea.
Accent is such a sensitive topic, and I want to say this very clearly. Accent is not a weakness. Accent is a story. It tells people you learned another language, not that you failed at this one.
That sounds comforting, but it's still hard. When I hear native speakers, their English sounds smooth. Mine sounds rough to me.
That's because you are comparing your behind-the-scenes effort with someone else's finished product. Native speakers didn't learn English the way you did. Your English is international English, and it doesn't need to sound native to be good.
I like that idea. My accent means I tried. It means I stepped out of my comfort zone instead of staying silent.
Yes, and that takes courage. Now let's talk about something even quieter than fear, the inner voice. That small voice that says things like, I'm not good enough, or I sound stupid.
That voice is very loud for me sometimes. Before speaking, it already tells me I will fail. And after speaking, it tells me I did badly, even if no one said anything.
The first step is not to fight that voice, but to notice it. Just say to yourself, oh, this is that thought again. You don't need to believe every thought you hear.
So instead of arguing with it, I just notice it. That already feels lighter than trying to push it away.
Exactly. Then the next step is to replace it, not with something fake or overly positive, but with something gentle and true. For example, instead of, I'm terrible at English, you can say, I'm still learning.
That feels much kinder. It doesn't pressure me to be great. It just allows me to be where I am now.
Another gentle replacement could be, it's okay to make mistakes, or one sentence is enough today. These sentences calm your nervous system, not just your mind.
I notice when I speak to myself more gently, my body feels less tense. My shoulders relax and my voice feels steadier.
That's because confidence grows in safe spaces, and your mind needs to feel safe first, which brings us to a very important sentence.
I think I know which one you mean.
Your English does not need permission. You don't need to wait until you're perfect, fluent, or confident enough. You are allowed to speak now, exactly as you are.
That sentence feels powerful. It reminds me that English is not a test I must pass. It's a tool I can use, even imperfectly.
And every time you use it, even with fear, you teach yourself something important. You teach yourself that you are allowed to take space, to be heard, and to keep learning.
Fear may still be there, but it doesn't have to be in control. I can speak with fear and still move forward.
Exactly. Fear can sit in the back seat, but it doesn't get to drive. And that's where real confidence slowly begins. Now let's bring confidence into real-life situations, because confidence doesn't only live in our heads. It shows up at work, in meetings, and when we meet new people. And that's usually where fear feels strongest.
Work is a big one for me. In meetings, I often have ideas, but I stay quiet because I'm afraid my English isn't clear enough or someone would think my idea is simple.
That feeling is very common, and it even has a name. Imposter syndrome. It's when you feel like you don't really belong, even when you do, and you worry someone will find out you're not good enough.
Yes, exactly that. Sometimes I think, everyone here sounds so confident, maybe I'm not at their level, so I choose silence instead of risk.
What helped me at work was changing my goal. I stopped trying to sound smart and focused on sounding clear. Asking one simple question or sharing one short idea is already confidence in action.
I like that. One sentence feels possible. When I prepare one sentence before a meeting, I feel calmer, and sometimes that one sentence opens the door to more.
Preparation really helps, especially for confidence. Writing notes, thinking about one point you want to say, or even practicing out loud once can reduce a lot of fear.
Another scary thing at work is asking for feedback. I worry feedback means I did something wrong.
I understand that fear, but asking for feedback is actually a sign of confidence. It says, I want to grow, not I am failing. Calm confidence is not about defending yourself, it's about learning.
That makes sense. Confidence doesn't mean I know everything. It means I'm open to improving.
Exactly. Now let's talk about confidence in social life, because meeting new people can feel just as scary. When I moved to a new country, even small conversations felt heavy.
I felt that too when I moved. I didn't know what to say, so I avoided talking. I thought confident people always knew the right words.
In reality, confident people use very simple language. Simple questions like, what do you do? Or how do you know people here? Are more than enough.
That's true. And when the conversation feels awkward, I always think I must stay and fix it.
Here's something important. You always have permission to leave politely. Saying, it was nice talking to you, or I'm going to get some water, is calm confidence, not rudeness.
That takes so much pressure away. Confidence doesn't mean staying forever. It means respecting your energy.
Yes, and that's why confidence is not loud. It's calm and honest. It doesn't need to prove anything, and it doesn't need to take over the room.
I really like that idea. Calm confidence feels more real to me than trying to act brave or outgoing.
Because real confidence is about trusting yourself, trusting that you can speak, listen, ask, and also step back when you need to.
So at work or with people, confidence is not about being perfect. It's about being present, respectful, and honest.
Exactly. And when you practice that kind of confidence, little by little, it becomes part of who you are. So before we gently close today's episode, let's slow down and take a breath together. We talked about confidence not as something loud or perfect, but as something very human and very learnable.
Yes, and the big idea is simple. Confidence is a skill, not a personality trait. It grows with practice, time, and patience, not overnight success.
We also said something important today. Making mistakes is normal. Mistakes don't mean you are bad at English or bad at life. They mean you are trying.
And small steps really matter. One sentence, one question, one moment of courage is already progress, even if it feels small inside.
Let's quickly review a few useful words we used today, just to help them stay with you. The first word is confident, which means believing in yourself and trusting that you can try.
The next word is believe. Believe means you trust something is possible, even if it feels difficult right now. You can believe in yourself, and that belief grows slowly.
We also talked about nervous. Feeling nervous means you care. Nervous is not the opposite of confidence. It often comes together with it.
Another important word is courage. Courage means doing something even when you feel afraid. Confidence often follows courage, not the other way around.
We also mentioned doubt. Doubt is that quiet voice that asks, am I good enough? Everyone has it sometimes, even people who look confident.
And finally, proud. Feeling proud means you recognize your effort, not just your result. You can be proud of yourself for trying.
Now let's do a very gentle mini practice together. You don't need perfect English, just honest English. Try saying this out loud or in your head. I feel confident when, and finish the sentence in your own way.
You can also try I believe I can. Maybe it's something small, maybe it's something big. Both are okay.
And here is our question of the day. What helps you feel more confident? It can be preparation, practice, support from others, or even just resting.
If you feel comfortable, write one simple sentence in the comments. Just one. We read them, and you're not alone here.
If this conversation felt familiar, you can like this episode. And if you want to keep learning English in a calm, real way, subscribe to EasyTalk English.
We're really glad you spent this time with us today. Remember this as you go back to your life.
Confidence doesn't come first. You come first.